All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, I may have made this analogy in another video, but have you ever seen one of these couples, probably your homeboy and his girl, what have you, and they seem like they were so good together, they were quote-unquote compatible. They got along relatively well, even though they fought a lot about silly things, but in the big picture, they fit well together. Eventually, they allow the little things to affect their relationship to the point where they separate. They both go their quote-unquote separate ways, and they're never as happy without one another as they were together because they're never as successful without one another as they were together. It's starting to become more and more apparent to me that LeBron James and Kyrie Irving need one another, because I think that their time apart is making them reflect on their time together. And a lot of times, the replacement for your former significant other that you think you can get right around the corner never comes. I'm thinking about it now, it's ruminating in my mind, and I just don't see Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant being a good fit together with the Knicks. I don't think that either player has the personality type to lead a team or handle the scrutiny that they will be the recipients of as members of the New York Knicks franchise, a franchise that has not had any form of success for 20 years and has not won a championship for almost 50 years. I just don't see it from Kyrie or KD. So I'm starting to believe that Kyrie Irving might want to consider linking back up with LeBron James, and I'm sure that LeBron will be very receptive to it. In the meantime, it's very clear to me that Kyrie Irving is on his way to becoming another LeBron James. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
I still don't see anybody beating us in 7 games.
You're concerned the struggle that you guys have this weekend in the playoffs?
No, it'll be fine.
Why do you think that?
Because I'm here.
Sounds like something that General George Armstrong Custer would have said right before the Battle of Little Bighorn. No, we'll be fine, because I'm here.
Boston's lost to Chicago. It's not getting Kyrie down. He doesn't see anyone beating the Celtics in a best-of-7 series.
If Kyrie wants to know who's going to beat the Celtics in the playoffs, all they have to collectively do is look in the mirror. Because I don't see those guys being able to advance to the third round, maybe not even the second round in the playoffs. They have no synergy whatsoever right now. No chemistry at all.
Puncher's chance, Max. You just talked about it. Is Kyrie justified in being so confident?
Kyrie is justified in being so egotistical. He has such an inordinate amount of belief in himself. I just could not help but make the correlation with the refrain that Kyrie Irving had to what LeBron James stated back in the 2015 finals, I believe it was, when they asked LeBron if he was concerned about the Cavaliers situation, and he said no, because I'm the best player in the world. That's normally what people full of bluster say right before they get decimated. I honestly don't think that Kyrie Irving gives a shit one way or the other, because he's in a no-lose situation. If they win, then he wins. If they don't win, then he goes home early and he considers his options. Either way, he's going to be making 8 figures next season.
I love Kyrie's confidence, but he better check this conference right now. Best player in the conference, not Kyrie. It's easy to have that confidence, Stephen A.
Right, but Kyrie's not concerned about that. Kyrie looks at the landscape and he says, who are we supposed to be so scared of? Milwaukee's never won shit. They've never even gotten out of the first round. Toronto's never shown that they respond well to pressure. They have Kawhi now, so it might be something different, but Kawhi's in a new environment himself. The Philadelphia 76ers are wet behind the ears, and we seem to have their number. That's how Kyrie is assessing the situation.
When the best player in the conference is on your team, LeBron James, he's also the best player in the universe, and you're the second
My man said the universe.
best player in the conference, and you're on his team. That's easy to be confident in that situation. Best player in the conference, not Kyrie. Best player in the conference is the Greek Freak. By a lot, by the way. Greek Freak's way better than everybody.
It's discernible. I have to give you that one.
You know who the second best player in the conference is?
Kawhi.
If he's right, I wouldn't say he's having the best year of his career. I know they're better. Their record's better without him than with him. But Kawhi Leonard has been as high, in my estimation, as the second best player in the world. And by the way, is a former Finals MVP.
I have to disagree with you there, Max Kellerman. I think that Kawhi probably is having the best all-around year of his career, especially with the additional responsibilities that he now has on the Toronto Raptors as opposed to what he had with the San Antonio Spurs. Kawhi is both a top 5 offensive player and top 5 defensive player in the entire NBA right now, with far more responsibilities.
Kawhi ever been a Finals MVP? And he did it and he got it because of the defense he played on LeBron James, and his team won. Kyrie's not the best player in the conference anymore. Kyrie also didn't have the best starting 5.
I agree with all that.
Because the Sixers picked up Butler and Tobias Harris to put with Embiid and Simmons.
And I saw that Sixer game against the Golden State Warriors last Saturday. When they get Embiid back and they're able to graft everyone together, hopefully for their sake, they're going to be a serious problem.
So it's a new world. A lot of the reason that we like Boston to start the season is Kyrie was their best player and he has that championship pedigree. And we looked at the starting 5. Tatum, all-star caliber and ascending. He'd be a franchise scorer.
Allegedly all-star caliber. I don't see it from Jason Tatum right now. Allegedly he's all-star caliber. I've stated this in other videos. When these rookies come into the NBA and they make a splash, they tend to be highly overrated. Oh, he averaged 16 points a game this year. He's a star on the rise. You don't know that. He might average 16 points a game his second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. He might just end his career being a 14, 15 point per game guy. You have no idea what Jason Tatum is. When I watch him play, I see sparks. I just don't see someone who is going to be dominant. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong.
Jaylen Brown might be an all-star. He's a rising star. Gordon Hayward.
Jaylen Brown is an athletic freak. He's not a star player. I think that he's a good role player. Now, he's another one who might prove me wrong. He might go to New Orleans in an Anthony Davis trade and become a 23 point per game guy. I doubt it, though.
Was an all-star, and he's supposed to be healthy. Everywhere you look, Al Horford's an all-star, and he just outplayed Embiid in last year's. But look at that starting 5, plus the bench, plus the coach, plus Kyrie as the closer, and in crunch time, and is the guy who's confident like that. That's one thing that has not been what we have seen. We've seen something else. It's the Milwaukee Bucks, actually, that wire to wire, basically so far, have been the best team in basketball, including the Golden State Warriors, and they've done it with the best player. Kyrie better look around and check the East.
Well, the Milwaukee Bucks remind me a lot of the 2014-2015 Warriors, the way that they're playing right now.
Well, he can look around and check the East all he wants to listening to Max Kellerman, but I applaud his confidence. He's absolutely on the money. I feel that way about him as well. See, here's the deal. Boston is a top 10 defense in this league. They're top 3 defending three-point shots. That matters. That matters because when you...
Yes, I agree that does matter, especially when you face a team like the Milwaukee Bucks who specialize in the three-point shot. That's going to be a very big factor in their series should they meet up in the playoffs.
When you look at the effectiveness of Milwaukee, for example, has surprised some people with how much they're shooting the 3 and how they're willing to capitalize off the greatness of the Green Freak. We get all of that. We know that we can't ignore Toronto because with Kawhi Leonard in the lineup, with Siakam and Anunoby and Lowry and Danny Green and these boys, they're going to be very formidable. But he's talking about a best-of-7 series where you get to make adjustments and figure things out. And I think that when you look at the Boston Celtics, what Kyrie Irving is saying is this. We have a talented enough team to come wire to wire in any game against anybody.
I would agree with that. But the real question is, how much do Kyrie Irving's teammates want to do well for him, as opposed to wanting him out, whether it be conscious or subconscious, because that is a factor. It's very difficult for people to invest themselves in the overall success of the collective when the person who is styling himself as the leader is someone who they don't want to lead. They might like him as a person, they just might not want him on the team anymore.
And then there's me. You give me the ball and I'm going to take you there. Now, whether he will or not remains to be seen, but do we believe in Kyrie? You damn right I do. I believe in this brother.
I believe in him as well, as a closer in big spots. But as a leader for 4 quarters, no.
I have a problem with right now as a coach I believe in, and Brad Stevens spent far too much time trying to reingratiate, Gordon Hayward into the mix. He only has 6 points in 23 minutes left.
Right, but Steve, what do you expect? They paid the man, they're paying the man $30-some-odd million a year. You damn skippy, they're going to do their best to reingratiate him or re-implement him into the fold. What are they supposed to do? Just let him chill on the bench and say, just heal up your ankle? You want something to drink? Like, come on.
Last night, I don't want to see that, okay? I think that Marcus Smart, I love the fact early in the season, when you took Gordon Hayward out of the starting lineup, you put Marcus Smart in there. Now I'm of the mindset, go back to what worked for you last year. Get Tatum and Jaylen Brown back in that starting lineup with Horford, with Morris, all right, and Kyrie, obviously. And let's see what you got. Let Gordon Hayward come off the bench. Let Marcus Smart come off the bench. Obviously, keep Terry Rozier coming off the bench, etc. And let's see what you got. I believe in Kyrie. And I believe what Kyrie is saying is that nobody's blowing us out. We'll be in the games.
Well, they've been blown out a few times. They've been blown out a couple of times since this segment, Stephen A. Smith. So they have some serious chemistry issues right now in that locker room. And I think that a lot of it is emanating from the notion that they want Kyrie out. I believe that it's becoming more and more tangible that they want Kyrie Irving out as the leader. They want him out off the team and out of the locker room, period. I don't think that they dislike him personally. I just think that they're tired of him, and he chose the wrong tactic and how to force his way into the leadership position this season. He should have played his way into the leadership position by saying to himself before the season, you know what my goal is this year? I want to average 11 assists a game. And then slowly over the course of the season, he could have asserted himself in clutch moments. But first you have to get your teammates to buy into and invest in what the season is supposed to be about. And he went about it the wrong way by trying to act like he's LeBron James. And it blew up in his face.
But when it comes down to it, we're a good enough team where nobody's going to run away from us, and it's going to come down to the ball in my hands, which is why he made the statement, Max, because I'm here.
Yeah, look,
because he knows it's coming down to him. I love it. Love it.
Look, and I'll give this to Kyrie. I'm not talking about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't mess up under pressure, it seemed like. He always just won. But there are athletes, and I'll include Kyrie in this category. Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, Derek Jeter. Athletes we've seen in the last decade or two, right?
Yeah.
Where, damn, Derek Jeter just grounded into a double play to end this playoffs game. Oh, the guy made an error. You know Jeter's going to come up later in extra innings and win the game. You just know it. And if you're rooting against him, you can hate all you want. You know what's going to happen.
Jeter was a great clutch hitter, but I always felt like the best clutch hitter on those late 90s Yankees was Paul O'Neill. That's just me.
Tom Brady just threw an interception to end the game. They should be out of the play. Oh, it was called back, pre-snap penalty. You know what Tom Brady's going to do. Kobe Bryant, same thing. Boy, he's lucky. Meta World Peace was hot. Meantime, his team's going to win. Kyrie's got that in him. Kyrie's got that in him where you think he takes a bad shot or something goes wrong for his team or he didn't lead them correctly, but he's just the kind of player that gives you the feeling he's going to wind up with a second chance, and when you give it to him, he's going to end it for you.
Kyrie's dangerous, no doubt about it, but that's not really the issue. The issue is whether or not Kyrie Irving is a suitable leader for the team, and if the amount of quote-unquote confidence that he showed is something that he really believes, and in what capacity does he believe it? Because if the team does not believe in you as a leader, the games are not going to be close enough down the stretch in the playoffs or in big games for the remainder of the regular season for him to be in the position to assert himself in clutch moments. So that's why it's so important when you're a leader to show the troops under you that you're willing to, to first scrutinize yourself before you scrutinize everybody else. That's why I say Kyrie had the wrong game plan coming into this season. I don't know who he spoke to, probably Kobe Bean, but whoever it was that he was getting advice from on how to manipulate the situation gave him very bad advice. And if he was advising himself, he came to some very poor deductions.
I get that, but let me tell you something about the Greek Freak in terms of anticipating how they may do in the playoffs. You know who's the one young superstar who doesn't work out with opponents during the offseason? When he's asked about it, he's like, I hate those guys. I'm trying to destroy those guys. And Tentacouple, he's not trying to make friends. He's trying to rip their hearts out of their chest.
Look, I've already done a video about this. I have no problem with guys working out together or going on runs together. I will say this. It looks like Giannis is going to be able to take his team to the next level. He's in year, 6 or 7, somewhere around there. This is the year where he has to make a deep run to show that he's deserving of being considered the number one player in the NBA. Because right now, these other players are at a crux. They're at a cross in the road. They're at a weak point. Almost every other player has a glaring weakness, other than Durant, who's on a team where the collective is even greater than the sum of its parts. So Antetokounmpo has the opportunity to show that the method that he chose to embrace in this modern NBA was correct for him. I still believe that if you have the opportunity to learn how your opponent trains and what their go-to moves are, what they work on, and how they work on it. Because there's a difference between watching somebody on film and watching them in practice, how they go about their process. There's a lot that you can learn. And Michael Jordan's even on record is stating that one of the redeeming qualities of him participating in the Dream Team in that venture was that he got to watch how Karl Malone, how John Stockton, how Clyde Drexler, how David Robinson, how they trained. That was a very key aspect of why he wanted to go after a while, after he was convinced by Ebersol and Nike and so on and so forth. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with Giannis saying, I'm going to work out with James Harden or LeBron or Kyrie or whoever. But if it's not in him, it's not in him. All I know is this. If you're not going to do that, you better have a lot of success in the playoffs. That's what you better have. Because these other players have dusted you in the playoffs thus far. But right now, I think is a pivotal moment for Giannis where he can capitalize.
And when you look at that team, everyone's six. The point guard, you got Bledsoe and Brogdon, who can both play. But you look everywhere else. Middleton's 6'8", Nurkic 6'10", Lopez 6'10", Freak is 7 feet tall. The Greek Freak, by the way, the one player in basketball, doesn't catch a switch on everyone, can legitimately defend 5 positions, and he has that attitude. I'm saying Kyrie has that kind of thing about him. To me, what I smell on the Freak, same thing. Only he's 7 feet tall and the MVP.
Well, first of all, we're not interested in what you smell because you've been sniffling for the last couple of weeks with your allergies and stuff like that, just like I do. So what you smell doesn't matter at this particular moment in time. That's not your strongest argument. Secondly, let's think about Kyrie Irving here. I'm sorry, Kyrie Irving's got friends. Kyrie Irving's going to be seen in the hallways talking to people and all that stuff. When you've seen Kyrie Irving on the floor, when has he not been trying to destroy somebody? No doubt. So don't give me some stuff about the Greek Freak not working out with people. I know he's trying to kill you. I know he's trying to destroy you. I know he's been he's articulated those thoughts. I get all of that. But that doesn't mean that he has more of a killer instinct than Kyrie.
Agreed.
Thirdly,
and that's a pretense that tends to get propagated, especially on the internet. That players who don't work out with one another, they have more of a killer instinct and all this other stuff. That's nonsense. Your killer instinct is something that's within you, and you turn it off or on depending on what level of the competition that you're in, or if you're in competition at all. So you have a Larry Bird who never worked out with anybody, and you compare him to a Magic Johnson who worked out with Isaiah Thomas, Mark Aguirre, Dominique Wilkins, Herb Williams, all at the same time. And when they got on the floor, they were both going at each other. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were. So my point being is this, just to get back to the point. The Greek Freak has to break through in the playoffs this year, or he's going to have to change some of his tactics.
In the postseason, I keep saying this. In some way, somebody's going to listen to me. Greek Freak's going to get his numbers. The numbers that he averages in the regular season, he's going to do the same thing come postseason. But where are you going to be when it really, really counts and they suffocate the lane and they dare you to beat them with a perimeter shot?
Agreed.
I'm not saying he's not going to do it because he's the Greek Freak. He's special. He's no question. But I'm saying I want to see him.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm not arguing he has more killer instinct than Kyrie because he doesn't work out with opponents in the offseason. I'm arguing we haven't seen him in the same situations as Kyrie. So we're really being asked right now to make an educated guess because we have.
Well, the reason why we have not seen him in the same situations as Kyrie is because he's not been as successful in the playoffs as Kyrie has. Now, someone can come back and say, well, Kyrie was on LeBron James's team. That's a valid point. But in the same token, Kyrie has taken authoritative positions in clutch moments in the playoffs. Greek Freak never has even had the opportunity to do that because he's not been able to assert himself even in just the first round. But once again, this year is different. This team is different. So let's wait and see.
We haven't seen it yet. And what I can see about him, all the indicators about him, tell me he's got that thing we're going to want to see.
And all I'm saying is you got to guess. You got to guess. I don't have to guess. I've seen Kyrie do it. So have you.
Yeah, but the Greek Freak's 7 feet tall and he's better than Kyrie.
All right. Well,
so he has that.
Well, he's more valuable than Kyrie is. I'm not quite sure if he's better than him. He's more valuable just because of the disparity in height. Greek Freak is 7 feet. Kyrie's only 6'2".
That thing in him. Now, if I dare you to beat you with a perimeter game, great. double the freak, right? Double him. You know what he's going to do? He's going to find one of the following players. Tell me who can't shoot from the outside. Middleton, Brogdon, Mirotic, Lopez. They're going to be raining threes.
I'm getting the rap in my ear, though.
I'm telling you what I know. Tell me what you believe.
All right. So.
Once again, the Greek Freak is the next evolutionary step in Shaq. I don't think that a lot of people understand that. The Greek Freak is this era's version of Shaquille O'Neal.
Celtics, they got to get up in the seedings, though. Fifth, not so good right now. Going to hurt them. All right.
Celtics are fortunate that the 6th, 7th, and 8th seed in the Eastern Conference are so far behind that they don't have too much to worry about and falling down even further. But anyway, once again, Kyrie, I think that he might want to strongly consider reteaming back up with LeBron James because they both need one another more than anything else. So peace.